Okay, so we're going to do our sound check. The first thing to notice is that I don't even have speakers attached to the board, because the first part has nothing to do with the volume in the room. It has to do with getting the appropriate amount of signal running through the channel. And this visual indicator over here, which is called the audio meter, is going to be the thing that helps us know how we're doing with our signal. So I'm going to start by setting the level on the mic that I'm gain setting to you, and to the unity level, and to you here. And that means that we're not adding or subtracting anything to the signal. Okay, so what I want to do is have the audio meter flash at green consistently when I'm speaking through the mic. And I don't want to see it jump up to the orange, or I guess that's yellow. And if I go to the red, that's way too high. So let's do this. Check 1, 2, and notice I'm using check 1, 2. That's actually a really good phrase to use because it has both high and low tones in it. So check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Oh, I'm getting my first little indicator here, but look, check 1, 2. It's not enough signal. It's too weak. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Ooh, I got a little bit of zero there, but not quite enough. I'm trying to talk as if I'm a student who's sharing. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check. Okay, I'm a student and I'm sharing my experience, and check 1, 2, check 1, 2. That looks pretty good to me. I'm going to go a little bit higher and see how that is. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Nope, I got a little bit of orange there, so I'm bringing it back down again. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Okay, so that looks like a check 1, 2. Ha ha ha. Okay, so that mic is gain set. And what's going to happen is after we gain set all of the mics, we're going to go and turn the speakers on, and then on the speakers themselves, we're going to use that to adjust the volume that's showing up in the room. Check 1, 2. Okay. Okay, here's the setup to work with setting your recording levels. One is you should know I'm talking into the student mic and recording whatever it is I'm saying. And what you're seeing here is the recording device. It's the Tascam, and you might notice that this visual indicator is hovering around that notch. This notch is different than the visual indicator on the board. So on the visual indicator on the board, check 1, 2, check 1, 2. The highest, when I hit my highest level, it goes to 0. Here on the recording device, this notch does not represent my highest level. It represents where I want my visual indicator to hover around. When I'm too high, this it means I'm at the top of the bar, and also this peak light will go on. So that's the general gist. But how do we get to that sweet spot on our recorder? It's a combination of two settings. One is the CR phones. I already mentioned that this record level is the gatekeeper for the cord that's going to our recording device, to the Tascam device. So that's one place that we're going to pay attention to a setting. And then the other place is actually on the side of the Tascam itself, to the level on the Tascam. And what's happening, I can hear in my headset. So let's talk about first how we know where to set the record level, and then secondly, how do we know where to set the level on the Tascam itself. What we're trying to do with the record level is capture the maximum amount of sound that we can, send it off to the recorder, but not capture the sound of the system itself. So there's some circuitry. Well, basically, when a signal's too loud, it makes a little white noise. And let me demonstrate that. I'm not going to speak into the mic. I'm just going to turn the record level, and you can both see and hear what happens. So my first goal is I'm listening in the headset, and it's the headset that I'm using to adjust the record level. I'm just listening. If I turn it up, right there, I start hearing a little bit of white noise. It doesn't actually show up on the system, on the Tascam, but I hear it in the headset. So I'm going to just turn it down. And I'm gonna, yeah, so I can hear my voice and I don't hear any white noise. So that's a good start. But of course, something else that's dictating this, I already mentioned, is the level. And I had already set the level because I'm recording and I wanted you to be able to hear what I'm saying clearly. But to take a look at what happens if I go too low on the level. So you can see the number here is going lower, lower, lower. And it's exactly what you would expect to happen. You're hearing less and less. I'm hearing less and less in the headset. And the visual indicator isn't getting to our notch. And I can't remember what that notch is called, so I'm just going to keep calling it a notch. So I'm going to just keep turning this up until it's giving me where I want to go. Yep, that's looking better. It's getting closer. That looks pretty good to me. Yeah, I'm going pretty good. So now let me show you what happens. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. I'm not getting a peak, and when I talk, I'm generally in the area of that notch. Okay, so now I'm going to set the level on the recording device too high. And the same thing would happen if I set the level too high on the CR phones, but it would have the additional impact of just having a lot of noise. So let me set this too high. You can hear already, I don't know if you can hear in the recording some white noise coming, but now look, see, it's getting this peak, and I'm going to keep going higher and higher. I get less white noise than the record level button, but see this peak, and I'm sure you can hear now the recording is distorted, or it should be getting pretty distorted because it's just too much signal coming into the system. So now I'm going to turn it back down and go to a more appropriate level. And I'll just keep talking while I do this, and you can see that's looking pretty good. Let's see, check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Okay, so it looks like we've got a good level going on in our recording device. So we have to find the appropriate level first here by using our headset and eliminating, making sure that we're below the level of white noise. And then we have to adjust the input level on the recorder to make sure that we're laying down enough signal so that later when we work with the recording, we have enough to put out something that students can hear easily. Okay,